Hey, there's a laundry list of things on page number 3. When we talk about illegal discrimination, this is exactly what we're talking about. You cannot take into account, you, the institution, you, the individual lender, cannot take into account with respect to any aspect of a credit transaction, these 8 items: race, color, religion, national origin, sex, marital status, age, public assistance, and any right under the Consumer Protection Act. Okay, these things cannot carry any weight when you're doing anything with respect to a credit transaction. We need to steer clear. Do not consider. 8 things. When you hear the term prohibited basis, okay, this is what they're talking about. We have to steer clear of these items. This is the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. Flip the page for me, if you will. Page number 4, number 2 at the top, is the Fair Housing Act. Again, the task is pretty clear, right? There's 6 items there. Do not consider these with respect to any aspect of a credit transaction. And again, anything that's subject to the Fair Housing Act will also be subject to the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. We need to make sure that our teams are not taking these things into consideration. Unfortunately, easier said than done, because while there's only 8 things under the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, only 6 things under the under the Fair Housing Act, and they seem pretty straightforward, what happens often, and you can ask your auditors about this, you can ask your compliance teams about this, the pen gets away from the hand, and while trying to describe somebody's character in a loan file, or trying to document why they make an exception, or they're doing an override, or the use of discretion. We talked about that earlier, right? In trying to describe the situation, which they're required to do, hey, we want documentation. The pen gets away from the hand and writes too many words. Or if we're talking about keyboards, they're keystroking too many words into their description. Okay, some examples would be strong balances for a young gal and trying to explain why we're doing an override. Hey, if you didn't catch it, there's 25% of the things you can't take into consideration in that one seemingly harmless statement. Strong balances for a young gal. Young has to do with age, gal has to do with gender, sex. Those are prohibited basis characteristics. By putting them in that statement, in the loan file, it makes the appearance that the loan officer is giving weight to things like gender and age, when they can't. Strong balances period would have been all that was needed, but the pen got away from the hand. You see how easy it can be. Another example that we run into a lot is in trying to describe character. Somebody writes that they've gone to church with somebody for the last 30 years, or that they're on a church board with somebody. And we all know what the loan officer is trying to do. They're trying to describe character, but you know what? You just invited church and religion to the table, and in doing so, you've again given the appearance that you have given weight to church and religion, which you can't do with respect to any aspect of a credit transaction. Now, I know what you might be saying. Well, the loan officer is not intending to illegally discriminate. In just a couple of pages, I'm going to share with you, it doesn't have to be intentional.